This episode is brought to you by Leo Bato and Associates, ang realtor na patok.
When buying or selling your home, call Leo Bato. He has years of experience in real estate, showing honesty and integrity in every transaction. He's a person you can definitely trust. So book your appointment with Leo Bato today by giving him a call at 818-648-4837 or by visiting him on the web at www.leobato.realtor.
This episode is brought to you by ABA e-Services.
And the podcast will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, wow, a great pleasure, a great honor, and a privilege. Consul General Edgar Badajos.
Maraming salamat. Thank you, Paco.
Alam mo, by the way, shout out to Leo Bato for actually coordinating this and for making it happen. Thank you, Leo. Kongjen, is it okay if I call you Kongjen Ed or Kongjen?
Kongjen Ed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alam mo yung feeling lang na you being here, and I said this off cam,
Right, yeah.
you being here just validates what it is we're doing.
Exactly, yeah.
And we really appreciate you taking the time from your busy schedule.
Of course, yeah.
Nakakatuwa. So let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay? Before being a consul general, what made you go into public service?
Okay. I was then in the UP College of Law in Diliman, and I had friends who were working in Congress at the time. And one of them recruited me to work for a congressman from Cagayan. And I agreed. And then one thing led to another. And then before I knew it, I was already working for Senator Miriam Santiago in the Senate. So before DFA, I was actually working for the late Miriam Senator Santiago. And I also worked for Justice Serafin Cuevas. So all the actors in the impeachment proceedings for one of the justices,
You were there?
they were my bosses.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Miriam Santiago, Justice Serafin Cuevas. So I had a good training. And
Terror ba si Miriam si Senator
well, you'd
Miriam
be
Santiago?
surprised that the persona she
Projects.
projects in public is so much different from what she's in private. She's very quiet, a very good boss, very motherly when we are just in the office. Our office then was in Examiner Street in West Triangle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So that's how I got influenced by so many people who were already working in Congress, in the Senate, my bosses, my friends. And then one of my friends also was already working in DFA at that time. And he joined the Foreign Service earlier than me. And
Pero magka-batch kayo.
magkabatch kami sa UP Law, but he joined the DFA earlier because you can take the exam earlier.
Right.
So he was already traveling around the world for free because as a Foreign Service officer, you get to travel overseas. So
Legal attaché.
yeah, so he said, hey, Ed, why don't you join the DFA? It's good to work here. And so I said, yeah, why don't I take the exam? And so in 1996, I took the examination and passed it.
Tapos saan yung unang destino?
My first posting was in Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in Canada in 2000 up to 2003.
Pero Kongjan Ed, was Canada your first trip outside the US, or when you were young did you travel outside?
My first travel outside the country was in Canberra. It's also for an official meeting. And at the time when I was traveling in Canberra, I said, it's good to be traveling outside the country.
Okay, so
right?
you felt that also.
Yeah, so I got the drive already, the motivation to work hard for what I wanted to do in life. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Now, since you mentioned the drive to work hard to get what you wanted to do in life, let's talk about you being a lawyer.
I'm an underbar anyway.
Underbar, okay. But you took up law.
Yes.
Was that because your parents told you to take up law, or did you want to take up law?
You know what? If I had taken the bar, passed it, I would have been the first lawyer in the family. Yeah, so I come from a not so well-off family. I have very humble beginnings. And I would say that whatever I have achieved in life is really a product of my, self-determination to succeed.
Yes.
And getting inspiration from my elder brothers who were among the first to be deployed to Saudi Arabia as OFWs.
Wow.
Yeah. So I said to myself, to succeed in life, you don't have to depend on so many people. Really, if in order for somebody to succeed, you have to really work on your own so that you can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve in life.
So may mga days ba during your college days, high school days, college days where you felt like giving up?
Yeah, you know what? We were orphaned so early. My father died when I was only in first year high school.
Wow.
And there were 6 of us in the family.
Pang ilang kayo?
I was the youngest.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. And when my father died, he left us with no riches at all.
No inheritance?
No inheritance at all. My mother was just a plain housewife, and none of my elder brothers have already graduated from college. They were still in college. So it was our eldest brother who, performed the role of a father to help
Right.
us. And my mother also, did so many odd jobs here to tide things over for us. And I would say that it's also a matter of luck and most of it hard work and the drive to succeed. That's why I'm here today.
Galing, oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, eto na. Now, nasa UP na.
Yeah.
Law. Why law?
Law because...
Why not mass comm?
Yeah, I know. In fact, one of my friends was telling me, you have a knack for talking to people, to a crowd. You can convince a crowd. You can tell them to follow you, but then you went into law. Well, only because we have friends back in the province. I'm from Abra anyway.
Okay. Shout out.
Yeah. Our province is from Abra. I'm from Abra. So I had friends who had relatives and uncles who were lawyers, and I admired what they were doing. So I said to myself, why don't I also join the legal profession? As simple as that. Simple as that. Yeah, but before I knew it, I was already working in DFA. So I went to a different path.
Galing, no?
Yeah.
This was your plan, pero talagang fate will bring you...
True.
Diba?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, Canberra, and then you came back.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a new goal in your head, what you
Right,
wanted
right.
to do. Your peers, nauna na silang
Pumasok sa DFA.
DFA.
Oo.
What was your motivation now?
What do you mean?
Nako, pumasok na sila, kailangan gawin ko to.
Oh, yeah.
Pero under Miriam pa rin ako. I mean,
Yeah, so I saw that they were really enjoying what they were doing because you get to travel overseas. You get to meet, foreign government officials. And most importantly, you get to meet fellow Filipinos overseas.
yes.
As a public servant, that's the first thing we do overseas. We help Filipinos under our jurisdiction. And I saw that they were getting enjoyment from it, being able to help, especially at that time. We had so many Filipinos going to Saudi Arabia. And there were so many problems. And I could see that, my fellow, my friends who were in the DFA were able to do something at least to help our fellow Filipinos overseas. And I said to myself, I think I can also do that. Yeah?
Hindi ba Kong Jen, hindi ba masakit minsan because you get like your first posting was in Toronto, sabi nyo, right?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Alam ko mababait ang mga tao sa Toronto.
Oh,
sa
yeah.
Canada, basically,
Yeah. That's
mababait
true.
ang mga
That's
tao
true. Yeah,
sa Canada. Very different.
That's correct, yeah.
But then again, you have overseas foreign workers, mga Pinoy, mga bagong bayani natin. Like, when you were you there as Consul General or were you there as part
one of the vice consuls?
Vice Consuls? What was your power as Vice Consul in terms of influencing or helping the...
Well, as a
Filipino
vice consul at
community,
that time, I was, of course, doing a lot of political and economic reporting, also doing consular services. And just like any other Filipino communities overseas, they have a lot of events on weekends.
Right. So
And
madami kayo nakikilala.
Marami nakikilala. And then they approach you, talk to you, and they feel that, they think that, it's like this. Fellow Filipinos who see a consul, they think that a vice consul or a consul can do anything. Do anything.
Kaya nga ako nagtatanong ng ganun right now.
Because you're the vice consul, then you can help me. Whatever problem I have, you can help me because you're vice consul. But we tell them we have certain limitations. But even as a vice consul, we were happy to serve at least our fellow Filipinos who were in Toronto at that time. Our jurisdiction in Toronto included, of course, Ontario province, and at that time, Saskatchewan and Manitoba.
Laki,
Yeah,
no?
malaki. 3 provinces.
So Winnipeg na area, Saskatoon area.
Yeah, Saskatoon, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, malaki.
Mga
Ontario
ganun.
alone is such a huge
Yes,
province
yes.
already, di ba?
And then, okay, wow.
Laki
So,
yan.
Saskatchewan, tapos Manitoba, yung 3 halos.
Prairie provinces,
Yeah.
yeah. Those are huge provinces, yeah.
So, what are the things that you can do as a vice consul?
Well, a
Not
lot.
consul, but vice consul. What are the things that a vice consul can do? Expedite passports.
Legally, what you can do is to consularize documents.
Okay.
We process
Like
as you know,
travel
the basic,
docs.
the basic functions of a consulate, like the Philippine Consulate in Toronto, is to process passports, legalize documents, issue travel documents, as you said.
Yes.
And we also assist what we call assistance to nationals cases. These are fellow Filipinos who are in distressful situations,
Right.
who run into problems.
Yes.
So as a diplomat, as a vice consul, it is your duty when a person who is in that situation approaches you to help that person face the law enforcement authorities in Canada, for example. If they're in need of a lawyer and they cannot afford the services of one, then we try to help find them a lawyer. And if we cannot find a lawyer, or if they cannot afford the services of one, then we request the Philippine government to try to provide financial assistance to these fellow Filipino of ours.
So any Filipino in a foreign land can just knock on the doors of the embassy and ask for help.
Oh yes, that's the beauty of being a Filipino. We are probably one of the most compassionate, if not the most compassionate governments in the world, because no other government has actually budgeted millions of pesos just to help Filipinos in distress overseas. Hindi alam ng makababayan natin yun.
Ako ang ganawan.
Na ang ating gobyerno, merong budget, millions of pesos para tulungan sino mang Pilipino ang nangangailangan ng tulong overseas.
Wow.
Regardless of your status. Okay?
Halimbawa, madideport ako sa bansang nandun tayo pareho.
Okay.
Can you help me?
Depende sa problema.
Okay.
Because pagdating sa immigration matters, hindi
Yes.
kami pwedeng makialam.
Okay.
Kasi call yan ng host government yan eh.
Nakipagsuntukan ako sa, let's say, Amerikano. Ngayon,
Tutulungan ka namin so that your due process will be
Right.
your basic rights to due process will be respected.
and let's make it clear, this is not padrino-padrino na...
No, wala.
Hindi, this is
Hindi
due
pwede.
process.
Due process yan. So, kahit na ikaw ang nakipagsuntukan, you still deserve a right.
Yeah, you have
your
a day
basic
in court,
rights. In court, you still deserve the right to be represented by a lawyer. If you cannot afford the services of one, wala ding maibigay ang ating host government, we can request funding from Manila.
Right.
So that we can hire a lawyer for you. Pwede natin gawin yon. Kapag ako in a hospital, hindi mo ma-afford yung medical expenses, we can also request financial assistance from Manila for you. But not to the full extent
Yes.
of your medical expenses.
Yes, at least a portion.
At least meron.
Yeah.
Yun ang hindi alam ng ating mga kababayan. Other governments hardly do that. I will not name names. Okay, I was in Toronto. I was also assigned in Thailand back in the mid 2000,
Yeah.
and there was massive flooding in Thailand. Maraming na displaced na mga pamilya, individuals from different nations, different nationalities. Yung ating gobyerno, talagang we delivered goods, financial assistance to Filipinos who are affected by the massive flooding. May mga ibang nationality na hindi man lang tinulungan ng kanilang mga embahada at konsulado. In Europe, if you go to Europe, you will see Filipinos from our consulate, officials from our consulates visiting jails, detention facilities to provide assistance to talk to Filipinos who are in detention.
Wow.
Ang mga ibang diplomats, they sometimes ask us, why do you do that?
Siyempre, constituents natin yun.
Right. But, tayo lang talagang gumagawa ng ganun. And we have the budget to do that.
Now,
Right.
with this, so you've been to Thailand, you've been to Toronto, now you're here in the States.
Yeah, I've been to New York.
You've been to New York.
And, my immediate last posting was Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Mhm.
So you've been around, you've seen different cultures.
Yeah, different cultures. Mhm.
What makes us stand out as a people? Tayo mga Pilipino, you said compassionate tayo, but what
We're
else?
very compassionate. We are so friendly. We are so giving. We do not hesitate to help a fellow Filipino or even another national who is in distress. Mabait ang Pilipino eh. Kaya naman, especially in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East for that matter, talagang hinahabol ang serbisyo ng ating mga kababayan. Kasi merong tinatawag na TLC, Tender Loving Care.
Okay.
Yeah? Especially if this is a nurse, Filipino nurse. Talagang tayong hinahanap eh. Because ibang quality ng service na binibigay ng Filipino.
Meron tayong empathy, no?
May empathy. Yeah? Pag ibang nationality, okay din sila. They're very professional. They're very knowledgeable about what they're doing. Pero parang may kulang eh.
Yeah.
What you said, empathy. We're so good at that. We're so kind as a people. We're so loving. We're so gentle. We're so generous. Not even to non-Filipinos. Yeah.
Yung bang good traits natin, are they the same traits that get us into trouble?
Sometimes. Sometimes people tend to abuse it.
And then, so I know,
Yeah.
I probably know that you've seen a lot of abuse dahil ang dami mo na natulungan ng mga ng mga Filipino overseas.
Sobrang bait natin sometimes. We forget. We sometimes forget or fail to recognize that other people are already taking advantage of our kindness. So sobrang bait natin sometimes. You know? I think that's one weakness.
I know.
Yeah.
Ito, Kong Jen. Ang Pilipino sa Pilipinas, minsan, walang t-shirt, naka-chinelas lang, naka-shorts, naglalakad sa bangketa. Walang trabaho, walang kahit na ano.
Correct.
But that same Filipino, pag dinala sa abroad, nagsa-thrive.
True.
Why?
True. Ayun nga eh. I've been to so many countries, and I can tell you that a Filipino, any Filipino from any strata, if you place him in any place of the world, he will thrive. He will survive. Kahit sa Mars ilagay mo yan, he will survive.
Diba?
Magaling survivor ang Pilipino.
Why can't we do it in our own country?
And they tend to succeed.
Yes.
And they tend to be better off than other nationalities.
Yes.
Magagaling eh. Magagaling. Talented talaga. We have the ability to find ways to be able to survive and do even better than other nationalities who are in the same situation or circumstances. Meron tayong ganung talento eh. Galing. Magaling ang Pinoy.
This episode is brought to you by Leo Bato and Associates, ang realtor na patok.
In your opinion, and again, opinion nyo, so I'm
Maabilidad. That's
maabilidad ng
maabilidad.
Pilipino.
Yeah, maabilidad.
Hindi hindi effective sa Pilipinas dahil pag ang katrabaho mo maabilidad din, nagka-cancel out kayo.
Shortcut yung ibang
Parang
mga
ganun
trabaho.
di ba? Kasi bakit sa Pilipinas, the same Filipino, iba yung outcome niya sa
Pag nasa abroad.
Oo.
I think meron isang theory dyan eh. And it has to do with the implementation and obedience to rules and regulations. Classic example sa ating konsulado dito. Okay? When I arrived here in 20...
And we're talking about the Los Angeles...
Philippine Consulate.
Philippine Consulate in Los Angeles, yeah.
When I arrived here, or at least a few months before I arrived, wala silang appointment system.
Yes.
So, and I think that's what Filipinos wanted. They want a system where there's no system. Where you just go to the consulate and, hope that you'll be served. Diba? So we changed it. Now we have an appointment system so that when you go to the consulate, you will be certainly served because you're sure that you are given this time and day that you will go to the consulate so you can avail yourself of the service that you need.
Respeto sa oras din yun.
So, as opposed to a system where there's no system at all.
You just walk in para
you just
DMV.
walk in. Diba? And then, napansin ko rin yan, may mga ibang kababayan, I'm not generalizing, may mga ibang kababayan natin, they don't want to follow the rules that we try to implement.
Right.
And yet, when they go out of the consulate and go to DMV, for example, or to other U.S. government offices,
I
they
agree.
follow the rules. They follow the rules, diba? But when they're inside the consulate, their own Philippine consulate, they don't want to follow certain rules.
Naghahanap ng kakilala.
Oo. Or sabihin natin, pero ba medyo gumamit naman tayo ng mas respectable na
Yes.
clothing? Di naman yung naka-chinelas ka, naka-short pant, ano ba yan?
Nakasando.
Nakasando. Konsulado ho ito. Some don't like that. They resent it. They get mad. They get angry. They become angry at us. Or we tell them, meron tayong appointment system. Nagagalit sila. Di ba? Ang sinasabi natin, we have to have a system para magawa natin ang trabaho natin. And I think that's one factor why, which is dragging down, the progress in the country. Kasi, I think marami sa ating mga kababayan ay talagang sumunod sa mga patakaran eh.
Ang weird, no?
Uh-huh.
Pero pag pumunta sa
Pag
Subic,
pumunta sa Subic, sinusunod yung traffic regulations yun, di ba? They stop and go, di ba?
I know.
Full stop before you go.
Right?
Diba? If they go to the US, they follow the rules and regulations, di ba? And yet, when they go to their own Philippine consulate, they try to make palusot para mauna sila o matapos yung kanilang hinihing serbisyo. Huwag sanang ganon. Di ba? I think that's one reason.
pero speaking of schedule, so, para sa akin, it's nice that we have a schedule. Unfortunately, that schedule's always full.
Okay, ganito yun, Paco. Starting in October, I think, of last year, we were already releasing appointments on a weekly basis.
Hindi na monthly. Hindi na every 2 months. Yeah.
And we release passport appointment slots every week. And each week, we release 750 slots.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's
diba?
yeah.
And for dual citizenship, we release 250 slots per week. And for legalization of documents, 250 slots per week also. So I don't see any reason why you cannot find
A schedule.
a schedule. We release the slots every Monday at 5 p.m. So mga kababayan nating nanonood, ito ho, tandaan nyo na ito.
Yes.
If you wanna get an appointment for your passport application or dual citizenship or legalization, you open our website on Monday at 5 p.m. Doon natin nire-release yung mga slots. Because if you open on a Tuesday or Wednesday, there's puno na yun. Ngayon, maybe ang question is, bakit napupuno ka agad? You've got to understand that there are about 1.3 million Filipino Americans
In your
under
jurisdiction.
our jurisdiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is what? Not just California, right?
This is Southern California.
Okay.
This is Nevada, Southern Nevada, which includes Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
And the whole state of Arizona.
Oh, wow.
So lahat ho yan, 1.3 million Filipinos. And ang isa pang natin dyan, kalaban natin, if I may say it that way, kalaban natin is, these Filipinos who would like to avail themselves of our services would like to get that service today, now,
The same
or
way.
yesterday, not tomorrow or next week.
Walk
now.
in. Kung sanay sa walk-in, di ba?
But I'm asking you, if you go to the U.S. Embassy today and apply for a visa, they'll give you an appointment in 2023.
I agree.
Do you hear them complaining against the U.S. Embassy?
No.
They will follow. Diba?
As a matter of fact, to your point, last year may tour ang Intro Voice, Kong Jen. Yung basis namin, si Jobert, nasa Pilipinas. So sabi namin, nakakuha ka ba ng appointment? September. Sabi ko, tama-tama, October yung tugtog natin. And then tawag siya ulit, bro, hindi ako makakasama. Sabi ko, bakit? September pa naman yung... Na pala, September 2022. Wala sa amin nagalit.
Yun na nga, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Wala kang they cannot do anything about it. They follow, 'di ba? They comply. 'Di ba? Without any complaint. Pero pagdating sa atin, sabihin namin, pero kumuha ka ng appointment, wala akong naku, susulat ako sa ating presidente. Isusumbong ko dito sa radio commentator na ito, ganyan, 'di ba?
Now, not to burden you, but if let's say you and I were going to go on a trip, and let's say I carry a U.S. passport. If I go to the Department of State and I show them my itinerary, they're gonna issue me a passport same day or following day.
No, because passports here, when you apply for a passport, you can apply at the post office.
Yes.
Yeah, di ba?
Pero let's say, pag normally sasabihin ng post office, go to the DFA dahil, ano yun eh? Urgent. Do we have something like that, like expedites?
Yung expedite, we cannot do that. Because passports are being processed in the Philippines.
There you go.
Worldwide. Akala ka siguro ng makababayan natin, when somebody applies for a passport at the consulate, we just tell somebody at the back office, okay, gawin mo na yung passport yan. Print mo na yan. No. Production of Philippine passports is being done worldwide in our plant in Bataan. Doon lahat ginagawa yan. So, diyan pinaprocess, diyan ina-assemble, babalik sa DFA sa Asiana, then Asiana will send it to all the consulates and embassies worldwide via diplomatic pouch.
And that's a process.
It is a process. And most governments follow the same process.
Yes.
You ask the other Asian consulates here, ganun din ang proseso nila. Their passports are also being processed in their capitals at ibabalik dito afterwards para ibigay doon sa aplikante. Kapag urgent yung travel ng isa nating kababayan, what we can do is probably give you a travel document.
Right.
You need to travel. But that's a one-way travel document.
And then when you get to your destination, travel document ulit.
Right. No, you get your passport to come back here.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But just so you can travel, magta-travel document ka na lang muna.
Right.
Right.
Tapos Kong Jen, yung mga burden nyo pa sa consulate natin dito, yung mga, let's say, ayan na, yung mga legal docs. Legalization, mga ganon. That one, schedule din dapat yon.
By appointment din yan.
So in other words, wala nang walk-in.
We now allow walk-ins actually for seniors, for visibly pregnant women, and for physically challenged applicants.
Yes.
Those are allowed. Every day, may mga walk-ins kami actually. Pero hindi natin pwedeng unlimited number din yung walk-in. Why? Because we have to remember that we are just renting an office space on Wheelchair Boulevard. Meron tayong maximum occupancy na tinatawag. Right. Ang maximum occupancy natin actually is only 70.
Oh my God.
At any given time. In excess of that, tatawagin ng ating attention ng building management at puntahan din tayo ng fire marshal.
Yeah.
And that has happened already to us. Na nag-exceed ang ating capacity. So that's one other reason why we cannot accept as many applicants as we want to in any given day.
Right.
Dahil limited ang ating space sa ating opisina. Now maybe the question is, so why don't you move to a bigger space?
Why not? Yeah.
And why don't you hire more people so that you can process more documents in any given day? That's a very simplistic question, and it ignores other facts that to move to a bigger office, you need budget. Where does this budget come from? From the Philippine government.
Yes.
And you know how the budgeter process works in the Philippines? Who approves the budget? It's Congress.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to go to Congress every year to ask for more budget.
Every year yan?
May budget may budget cycle yan. May
Yeah.
budget cycle yan eh. So DFA proposes budget, goes to the Congress to defend the budget. Bakit kailangan natin ganyang kalaking budget? And you have to understand, we're not the only consulate in the world. There are about more than 90.
So in other words, you have to fight for your own territory, di ba?
Yeah. So gusto man nating lumipat sa malaking space.
Yes.
Hindi natin magagawa dahil walang budget eh. Tayong nakukuha pa sa ating gobyerno.
Right.
Di ba? Hindi ganun kadali na, sige, lipat na tayo kasi nagreklamang grupo na yan. Nahihirapan daw sila. Okay, let's move to a bigger office next week. It's not
so
like
magandang solution din pala talaga yung system, yung scheduling system na yun.
It is. Because number one, it addresses the question of space limitations.
Right.
Number two, especially at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, hindi talaga pwedeng malaking bilang ng mga tao at the consulate.
This was your idea? This
No,
scheduling?
they started actually months before I arrived.
Right.
But we firmed it up when I arrived. And in fact, when I arrived, we increased the number of appointment slots for passport, dual citizenship, and legalization of documents.
Also, speaking of passport, sa Philippines, when you were starting out, I just read it somewhere that you helped co-author the
Philippine Passport Guidebook.
The guidebook, yes.
Yeah. So I was starting in DFA, and many of the questions at the back of the mind of applicants are basic questions like, what do I need to apply for a passport? Where is the DFA located? Where do I go? Things like that. Or if I get married, do I need to adopt the surname of my husband? Things like that.
Do we need to?
The wife has the option, has a choice. Yeah.
Okay.
She may or may not opt to adopt the surname of the husband.
Yeah.
In fact, my advice to couples who come to the consulate to get married is, I tell the wife, you have to be careful. You think again 1,000,000 times. Do you really want to adopt the surname of your husband?
Know.
Because if and when, wag namang sana mangyari, magkahiwalay, it's so hard
To reverse it,
to
diba?
reverse to your maiden name.
Yeah.
You get an annulment, which is a very lengthy and expensive process, or the husband dies.
That's true. Oh my God.
Diba? Mahirap. Kaya mag-isip kang mabuti.
Do you miss the Philippines?
Of course.
Are you able to go home anytime you want to? No.
No. Kasi we have to be at post at our station during the whole time that we are here. Maybe we can take a vacation at least once a year.
Once
or
a year?
twice a year at the most. Kung
And then-
papayagan tayo ng DFA.
And then how many days pa?
20 days at most.
Okay.
20 days. Yun lang, maximum.
Bitin yun, Kong Jen.
Bitin yun. Kaya nga, mahirap ang trabaho ng diplomat.
Yeah.
You know why? We're like soldiers. We get assigned to different countries. We get stationed in one country, from one country to another every 6 years.
Right.
And we get to see our capital only for 2 years. And then after 2 years, we get assigned to another country again. Walang permanence talaga until you retire from the service. So it's very difficult, especially if you have a family. Because you get moved from one country to another. If you have children, they get uprooted from one country to another.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's very difficult.
So kailangan pala talaga it has to be a family decision pag mga
It
ganun.
has to be a family decision. Kaya yung buhay ng isang diplomat, it is best to join the foreign service when you're single.
Is it lonely?
No, not really. Because you get to interact with a lot of people. You get to serve your fellow Filipinos overseas. You get to meet different characters. You meet foreign government officials, your counterparts from the host government, for example.
Right.
And you get to participate in policy making. Ako, gusto ko yung ganitong trabaho. Unlike if for people, I have nothing against the UN, okay? Or people working in multilateral agencies.
Yes.
But what they do is mostly to pencil pushing, di ba? And debate and argue over words and phrases and sentences. Yeah. But what we do at the consulate, could affect lives.
Absolutely.
Decisions that we make could affect lives. You see the effect really of the decision. You make a wrong move, it could spell disaster for your fellow Filipino.
Yes.
You make the right decision, it could mean good life for him, for that fellow Filipino. Kaya malaking difference eh. And that's what we're enjoying also here at the Philippine Consulate. Kasi nakikita natin ang epekto eh. Yung ating pagtulong konkretong nakikita mo eh.
Right.
Yeah.
Ito, Kong Jen. Historic Filipino town.
Sure.
Di ba nagkaroon tayo ng magandang
Arcway.
arco?
Yeah.
Di ba? Yung Arcway.
Mm.
What was the vibe sa Philippine Consulate sa downtown LA nung nagkaroon tayo ng gano'n?
Maganda. It's a feeling of affirmation that we have arrived as a community. It's a recognition of our community, especially during this time when you're seeing a lot of incidents of hate crimes.
Right.
It's a recognition of who we are, of our presence.
Right.
Not just in this part of California, but in the United States. We are announcing that, hey, here is the Filipino-American community, that we need to be respected, that we have arrived, that we have made a great mark in this country. Yung mga gumagawa ng mga hate crimes na yan, I keep telling to our fellow Filipinos, the people who are doing this are forgetting the fact that America was built
By
on the
immigrants.
shoulders of immigrants.
Amen.
At karamihan dyan, maraming mga immigrant Filipino.
Yeah.
At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, who were in the forefront of the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic?
Mga Filipino nurses.
Including
Yeah.
your wife.
My wife, yes.
Diba? So, we are not living off the system. We're actually helping the system become even stronger and better.
That's true.
Diba? And we are just so proud of the fact that Filipinos are among the better off migrant communities in this country, diba? If America is great, it's because of the immigrant communities, which includes a lot of Filipinos.
Right.
Yeah. And I think some people are also forgetting the fact that we were present in California way back in the 1500s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even before the
Yes.
pilgrims arrived.
Kasabay ng mga Chinese.
Exactly,
Oh,
diba?
yeah. Yeah.
Matagal na tayo dito eh.
That's true.
Di ba?
Kong Jen, ito ngayon, ang Jollibee, shoutout sa Jollibee, binili na nila ang coffee bean.
Yes. Oh,
right?
Yeah.
We're actually moving ahead. Tapos may arcway na tayo.
Yeah.
What are the plans? Kung meron man ang Philippine Consulate under your leadership, anong plano nyo sa commerce, sa small businesses dito sa Southern California?
Okay.
Bago nyo sagutin yan, commercial break muna tayo. We'll
Sure.
be back.
Okay.
This episode is brought to you by Leo Bato and Associates, ang realtor na patok.
And we're back. Okay. Kong Jen, ito na.
Yeah.
So before the break, pinag-usapan natin yung mga businesses na Filipino-owned are thriving and meron tayong Arcway, may sign na tayo doon. Kumbaga, nagkakaroon na tayo ng affirmation. What are the plans naman of the consulate to reinforce these small businesses and big multinationals?
No, in fact, nasimulan na natin. In fact, for 2022, that's one of our focus areas, to help promote Filipino-American businesses. In fact,
nice.
we just had a program in tandem with the two biggest Filipino-American owned supermarkets here, Island Pacific and Seafood City.
Okay.
Nagkaroon tayo ng Lutong Pinoy Food Delish, which is promoting Filipino cuisine. Because you have to remember, April was Filipino Food Month. So we partnered with Island Pacific and Seafood City, and we invited Chef Donita.
Yes.
And what's the other one? For Seafood, Island Pacific.
Si Donita yata for Island Pacific eh. Sino sa Seafood City?
Si Chef Daisy, I forget her name. Yeah, but that's promoting really Filipino cuisine. And in this week, I'll be going to Phoenix, Arizona, to also have a business mixer with Phil and American Chambers of Commerce in Arizona. We'll be promoting the Filipino IT industry. We would like to attract more for American investors to consider the Philippines as a destination for their
back office,
BDO, back office operations.
Yeah.
Dito naman, well, of course, we've been helping highlight the presence of Phil and businesses. In fact, whenever I go out of LA, I visit Filipino-American restaurants, Filipino-American businesses, just to talk to them, how they're doing, and also asking them how the Philippine Consulate can help them. If there's anything we can do to help them. That's also promoting their visibility. And then...
how about Kong Jen? Nasa website ba ng Philippine Consulate ang mga help wanted, mga jobs, mga classified ads?
No, we cannot do that.
You can't do that?
We cannot do that. What we do is we have a quarterly webinar series, and we are doing financial literacy seminar. We are inviting guest speakers. In fact, tomorrow, we are having another speaker who will be talking about investing naman your money in the US.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, ang ginagawa natin topic is, if you're earning here, paano mag-invest sa Pilipinas? Maraming mga investment opportunities sa Pilipinas. But what about if you don't want to invest but you want to invest here in the US? Yun naman ang topic tomorrow. We have invited somebody who is a financial expert who will be talking about that. If you have disposable income here in the US and you'd like your money to grow, what are good investment instruments here in the US? Yun naman ang topic natin bukas. That's at 5 o'clock.
Ang ganda.
Yeah. Webinar.
Webinar.
So we do that
yun.
Quarterly. Yeah.
Ibig sabihin, maraming pwede mag-attend doon dahil
webinar
yun.
yun. In fact, other topics that we'd like to discuss is one about philanthropy philosophy.
Oy.
That's a good topic.
Kasi like we're very, very giving people.
We're very giving people, but is there a proper way of giving really to people in need or to institutions in need?
Is there a proper way? Like,
That's what we're going to discuss.
but without preempting your discussion, are you the type of person who will give money or who will give time?
I can do both, I think. Yeah, depending on the need and the urgency of the need. And that is why we would like to invite the speaker, maybe a few months from today, to talk about philanthropy literacy. Because there's, I think, a proper way of doing or engaging in philanthropy.
Yes.
You don't just give left and right.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a proper way of doing it to make sure that what you give goes to the right entities or individuals or beneficiaries, whether here or in the Philippines.
It's like teaching accountability also,
Correct,
especially
yeah.
for the
Oh, yeah,
recipient.
especially. And also for those who are collecting money from here.
Yeah.
Right? To make sure that, if they collect money from here, from so many people who are willing to help, these really are going to be used for the intended beneficiaries in the Philippines.
Right. Ang Philippine Consulate, does it play referee to disputes between two Filipino entities?
In fact, we are discouraged from doing that.
Okay.
It's in our regulations. But if really parties come to us and seek our help to mediate between two parties, we do. But as much as possible, we don't do that. We tell them to, there are some administrative and legal remedies here. And you can do that. Yeah? Kasi mahirap madrag ang ating konsulado sa mga away.
Tsaka again, staff, di ba? Yung staff natin dito.
You've got to understand, per our record, there are more than 750 Filipino-American organizations. And it keeps growing.
How do you divide your time among these? Like ngayon, you're here in my podcast. Kaya very, very grateful kaming lahat dito you're here.
So what I do is to delegate some of the invitations to my vice consuls and consuls. Some we just say we cannot go, sorry, because there's only a few of us, and we cannot, just be accepting all invitations that come our way. It's just simply impossible to do that. So we can be very selective also. But mga kababayan natin, rest assured, marami tayong pinagbibigyan.
Yes.
Wala tayong pinipili. Wala tayong kinikilingan. Okay?
Hindi,
Wala tayong favoritism.
Pero totoo yun because sidebar, when Leo was helping facilitate you being here, sabi ni Leo, anong schedule ng Paco's Place? Sabi ko, why? Kasi mukhang pwede si Kong Jen, pero kailangan natin malaman kung kailan. And di ba ang sinabi natin, Jay, kahit kailan. So we had to talk to all our guests.
Right.
Na guys si Kong Jen Ed said yes. We're just looking for a date. So it could hit one of your schedule.
Right.
And they were all willing to play that Russian roulette game to when you were going to say yes.
Right.
So ayan, shout out sa mga guests natin for accommodating.
Thank you. Maraming salamat. Yeah.
Because you being here really elevates everybody's story. Kasi lahat na nandito is like that. May story.
Well, nakwento naman ni Leo ang ginagawa mo dito. And I've also been seeing some of your podcasts. And I see that your medium is a good way of also talking to our community.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're conveying information that are actually practical and useful to many of our kababayan here in the US.
Right.
Kaya I said to Leo, sige, gawin natin yan. Nakakatulong
Thank you.
Nakakatulong yan.
So Kong Jen, speaking of tulong, ayan na, di ba? I'm in the music industry. And sasakalin naman ako ng mga constituents ko if I don't ask this.
Sure.
May mga local events like sina Mick Diaz. Kaya
kilala ko si Mick. Yeah,
natuwa ako when you
one
said,
of the producers.
when I said, Kong Jen, kilala mo si Mick. Because sila yung mga local producers who are producing shows for local Filipino artists.
Correct.
Sanay tayo sa malalaking pangalan. Sanay tayo sa mga River Maya, Eraserheads, Intro Voice. Pero may banda dyan who is equally as good or better.
Yeah.
How can the Philippine Consulate contribute to the arts na US grown?
Well, I think the support, the mere presence of the consulate in those concerts, for example, is one way of really encouraging them to even become even bigger in the US, supporting them to become even bigger in the US. I admire what Mick is doing. I admire her because she's really encouraging small up-and-coming stars to up and coming artists
Yeah.
to really make it big in the entertainment industry.
And it's not easy, diba? Pero
It's
we
not
talked
easy.
about
Yeah,
it a
yeah.
while
Maganda
ago,
yan
diba?
Kaya whenever we can, pupuntahan natin ang ganyang mga. That's showing our support.
Yes.
If the consulate believes in this artist, in this producer, then why should not the Filipino community also believe in that artist or producer?
Is the consulate able to, let's say, wag na lang kami, a new artist, and hawak mo ang Vegas at saka ang Arizona, would it be possible na pag may Independence Day event sa Arizona, Las Vegas, Southern California, would the consulate be able to suggest na itong artist from California mag-perform sa...
That one we cannot do that.
Cannot
Kasi
do that.
baka natin ng parang bias or
Right.
favoritism.
Posting events on the calendar of the
Meron
Philippine
tayong
Consulate.
community calendar
Yes.
sa ating website that we can post
Concerts.
all announcements by film organizations or producers, but for some reason that page now is not working. So we're trying to fix it. So we have to do it for everybody,
Yeah.
not for anyone in particular.
Yes.
And then yung mga events naman being organized by Filipinos to which artists they would like to invite, it is up to them also. We cannot tell them to... Of course, we can make recommendations probably, but not openly. Maybe we talk to the president or the chairman of that organization. Why don't you consider getting this artist?
Yeah, yung tipong elbow.
Oh,
di ba?
yeah. But it doesn't follow that just because he was endorsed by the Philippine Consulate. That will have to be followed. Hindi ganon.
Grabe, no? Like before the start of during the start of the podcast, sabi mo, there are things that we cannot do.
Yeah.
Ang dami pala talagang things that
Yeah.
that you would rather not dip your hand into because
Exactly.
it's opening a can of worms pala.
Exactly, yeah. Yun ang isang natin dito, challenge natin. A lot of our fellow Filipinos here think that we are superhuman. That we can work miracles. We can do wonders. We can do anything that they would like us to do for them. Hindi ho ganon. May mga limitations tayo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kong Jen, pinag-usapan natin kanina yung mga OFW. You were in Jeddah.
Yes.
So, ikaw naman, I know you have diplomatic immunity,
Correct, yeah.
but how do you adapt yourself to the culture and to the rules and regulations of the places that you get
Right,
posted
right.
in,
Yeah.
especially sa Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, you just have to be really respectful of the culture of the country where you're in, especially in Saudi Arabia. Kasi very conservative yan, di ba? And that's what we tell our fellow Filipinos. We are in a country with a culture that's so different from ours.
Right.
So the least that you can do is to respect the culture. There are certain things that you cannot do. Then don't do it. Kung ayaw malagay sa alanganin, wag mong gawin.
Huwag kang bumili ng alak.
Huwag kang uminom ng alak, huwag kang bumili, huwag kang magtimpla ng sadik.
Yeah, di ba? Yan ang uso dun eh.
Exactly, di ba? In fact, maraming mga kababayan natin nakakulong because of their own doing. Na wala naman dapat problema, but they do it anyway. So nalalagay sila sa alanganin.
Right.
In fact, Jeddah as a post is a good post to be in. If you want to live a life where you will begin to forget alcohol, you go to Saudi Arabia. Wala talaga alcohol doon. That's where I forget to drink beer. Nakalimutan ko kasi walang beer doon eh.
6 years? Were you there for 6 years?
3 years lang naman yun. Maganda dong ma-assign actually. Clean living. But really, kung galing kang Pilipinas, maghahanap ka kasi ng kasiyahan. Alam mo naman ang kultura natin, di ba?
Yes.
And then when you find yourself in Saudi Arabia, medyo malulungkot ka dahil wala kang makitang ganon. So that's where temptation comes in.
Right.
So doon magmamata talaga yung self-control. Right? Yeah.
The art of saying no. A while ago you mentioned na you can't divide yourself into different pieces. So there are events that you will have your vice consul go.
Correct. Yeah.
There are times you will have to really say no.
Yeah.
Do you find it easy to say no?
Well, it is easy to say no if you're just being honest.
Can you explain that further? Because honesty really goes a long way.
Right. I mean, if really you cannot go to to a certain event because of other official engagements, it's not very difficult for me to say no to the organizer because it's true that I cannot because of an official engagement. And I think that they understand naman pag sinasabi ko yon. Iba pag nagsasabi ka ng hindi totoo eh.
Oh,
Diba?
yes.
So, saying no to me is easy if I'm saying it because really I cannot go because of certain difficulties that I really cannot avoid. Yeah.
Now, yun na. You're wearing the suit.
Mhm.
We're doing this.
Mhm.
Paano pag natanggal na yung suit? Ano, sino si...
Ed Badajos is somebody who loves to sing. who,
Kong Gen Ed, my kind of guy.
who loves to read books. Who just wants peace and quiet at home on weekends. Ganun ako eh. Very conservative actually ang buhay ko eh. Hindi ako masyadong mahilig sa mga bars. Yeah. Ayoko maingay eh, actually.
Is your mom still around?
No, she passed away in 2017.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Which is very sad because actually that's when I came back when I went back to Manila after my posting in New York. That's in 2017. My plane just landed at NAIA, July 17. And then my brother who was there to pick me up just told me, oh, Sai, wala, hindi mo na naabutan, mother natin namatay na. Kailan? Ngayong umaga lang. Ganun. So yun ang mga downside din ng trabaho mo sa diplomat eh. You're away from your loved ones. You don't get to see them for extended periods of time. But what's good about today is that we have technology.
Yes.
Yeah, you have internet, you have the telephone, you have Messenger, you have Skype. It's so easy to communicate with people nowadays. Di ba?
Hindi ako move on dun sa scenario na yon. How did you feel?
Crushed. Kasi hindi ko nakita for
3 years.
3 years because I was in New York eh. And then ganun na lang. Di ba?
And you're the youngest pa.
I'm the youngest, di ba? So, naalala ko bigla yung buhay ng aking mga kapatid.
Yeah.
Were among the first to be deployed in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
In the 70s. Walang mga ganito nun.
Yes.
Walang messenger nun. Walang
Yeah.
they had to...
When they leave,
wala
fingers
na.
crossed na yun.
Right, yeah. Susulat ka lang. Ang uso nun yung cassette tape eh.
Yeah.
Na naka-record yung voice nun.
Voices.
Di ba? Voice tape, di ba?
Ginawa ng
Diba?
tito ko rin yun eh.
Right. Pero kaya tayo, we're just so lucky today na meron na tayong mga ganitong mga gadgets, technology, because it's so easy to communicate with loved ones.
That's true. You and your siblings, are you all close?
Oh, yes. We're so close. Because we were orphaned early by our father.
So now that it's just the six of you are still intact, right?
One died in
Passed away,
2019. Yeah.
Grabe, ano? At that we are at that stage where
Right.
as close as we want to be, we're close yet we're far.
Correct. Yeah.
Your life journey. Oh my God. Kong Gen Ed.
Yeah.
Sorry pati ako na ako rin, maaga rin ako na ulila eh. Your life journey. What meaning did you find out of all the years that you've done being out? And then, ang kapalit serving your country is, yun nga, on the day of your arrival pa, doon pa nawala si nanay. Parang...
Oo nga. I think there's a reason for everything that happens in our lives eh. Kaya lagi kong binabalik-balikan yung Ecclesiastes. There's a reason for everything, whatever the experience is, there has to be a reason for it. And I'm always hopeful and that it's something for the better to make you become an even better person, no matter what the experience is. Yan ang belief ko eh.
Were you close to your mom?
Oh, yes. Kung may suffering man ngayon, it's not because somebody wants to make you suffer. Maybe somebody wants to make you become a better person. That's my belief. Yeah.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that applies for everybody, especially new immigrants.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Kasi di ba, new immigrants, oh my God, they cry. Pag ako, umiyak ako.
Mahirap. But you've got to be hopeful and positive that at the end of the day, meron pa ring pag-asa yan eh. And nothing is impossible. It only takes a longer time maybe to achieve your goals. Right?
Are you a patient man?
Oh, yes. You're patient. I don't get easily provoked.
So may tingin What type of boss are you naman?
Very understanding. Very understanding of my subordinates. Hindi ako naninigaw eh. I'm very diplomatic. I talk to them. And
no pun intended yun, you're very diplomatic. No?
Yeah. I'm very diplomatic. And I make it a point that I make myself very, very clear what I want to, the outcome, the output I want to see. And I try to guide them.
But you don't micromanage.
I don't micromanage because I believe that all my staff at the consulate, they're not here if they're not competent and able and willing to do their job. That's why I don't need to micromanage them. I just give them the agenda for the week or the things that I want to do or the output that I want to see, and then I leave them do their own work on their own. Kasi alam mo, kaya nila yan eh.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day or the week, I ask them ano nangyari. Ganun din si Miriam. I'm reminded of Miriam Santiago, my former boss in the Senate. That's what Miriam does too. She meets with us every Monday morning.
Huddle.
Yeah, Monday huddle. And then she gives her agenda for the week. Bahala na kayo how you do it. Hindi ka pupuntahan sa kwarto mo, tinatanong every minute, every second, nagawa mo. Hindi ganun yan. But come Monday morning, she will audit, nagawa mo ba yan? Ganyan.
What if one of your employees come, again, shout out nga pala sa staff ng Philippine Consulate.
Magaling lahat sila yan.
Walang nagka-come up with excuses.
Maybe meron din. Tao lang naman tayo, di ba? But I don't mind. Basta nagagawa yung output.
Yes.
Basta they deliver. And I'm just so happy that everybody delivers naman. I've not been disappointed so far by my fellow workers at the Philippine Consulate. They do deliver. Yeah, magagaling lahat yan.
You know what? I would agree with you on that one because the last time I was there, what was I there? Nag-renew ako ng Philippine Passport. Very professional.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very professional. Kahit kilala nila kung sino ko and all that stuff, walang padri-padrino. We just went to the process professionally.
Oh, yeah.
They were very nice and very kind.
We have to do that. Yeah.
Even pointed me kung saan, dito ako magpapa-photocopy, mga ganyan, and all that stuff. Ito, Conggen. Arizona, Vegas, LA. Southern California, you're handling all three. Iba-ibang problema, iba-ibang commerce criteria, iba-ibang challenges.
Right.
There's only one of you. Of course, you have your vice consuls, di ba? But saan nanggagaling ang stress at saan nanggagaling ang zen? Where do you find your peace sa stress ng pag-handle nito?
That's a good question. Well, at the end of the day, ang sinasabi ko na lang sa sarili ko is we cannot please everybody.
This episode is brought to you by ABA e-Services.
Can you explain that to me and to the rest of the viewers? Because ako nagigilty ako when I'm not able to please everybody. So meron akong ganun eh.
You've got to understand that we have more than 1 million constituents here in Southern California, Southern Nevada, and Arizona. And you cannot possibly please everybody. So, meron talagang hindi matutuwa sa ating ginagawa. Di ba? And it's a given. It comes with the territory, sabi nga nila. So, ang ano na lang namin is that we can say to ourselves that we tried our best. Yeah? Kung meron pa rin hindi natuwa, at least we tried. Diba? And we will try and try again until masatisfy natin yung mga hindi natutuwa sa mga ibang ginagawa natin. Ganun na lang aming mantra. Yeah.
How about giving up? Is that part of your
No, we
vocabulary?
can never give up. When you become a public servant, a civil servant like us, the idea of giving up, it never entered my mind. Because, ganun na lang. I always tell our communities here whenever I speak before them that our failure or success is as much a function of what we do and the support or lack of support that we're getting from you.
Right.
Okay? So if we succeed at the consulate, it's because of the support that you're giving to us. If we fail in wherever we're doing, it's because probably of the lack of support that we're also getting from the community. It's a team effort. Do not look at us as the consulate, set apart from you as a community, doing everything that needs to be done for the community. Look at us as your partner in serving your own community.
Actually, in fairness to you, in fairness to you and your staff, mas nakikita kong visible talaga kayo ever since na kayo yung nandito sa post. And I've wanted to say this nagkaroon ako ng awareness.
We are doing 12 consular outreach programs per year.
Wow.
We go out of Los Angeles to serve our Filipino American communities in areas outside of LA. 12 times a year, ginagawa natin yan. Aside from that, we do consular Saturdays. We open Saturdays. And
every Saturday?
Hindi naman, not every Saturday.
Bigla na excited, no?
Pinipili natin yan. But whenever we do this, we don't get paid extra. Unlike here in America.
Yes.
You do extra work here, you get paid overtime. Hindi ba? Napakaswerte nyo dito. Kami sa gobyerno, hindi ganon. Hindi ganon.
Wow.
And yet we do it because it's public service.
Okay. One question about citizenship. Would you recommend American citizens to
become dual citizens?
Yes.
Yes. You have nothing to lose. Everything to gain. If you become a Filipino citizen again, dual citizen, we call them dual citizen, then you're restored into your full rights as a former Filipino citizen. And one of the most important rights there is to buy lands in the Philippines. And to stay in the Philippines for as long as you want.
Because you're Filipino.
Because you're Filipino, di ba? But for those who have disposable income, of course, the most important thing that they want to happen is for them to be able to purchase lands in the Philippines. And you cannot do that if you are not a Filipino citizen again. And if you're just still so invested in the political future of our country, then being a Filipino citizen also entitles you to vote during elections in the Philippines, just like in the election that we recently had, diba? If you were a dual citizen, then you should have been able to vote in the last elections, right? And voted for your favorite candidate, right? Yeah. Walang mawawala eh. Walang mawawala.
Pera. Taxes.
No, because if you're not going to earn any income within Philippine territory, you will not be taxed. Unlike here in America, hahabulin ka ni Uncle Sam.
Hindi natin alam yun.
Diba? Dito iba yung tax treatment dito, diba? Wherever you go as an American citizen, hahabulin ka ni Uncle Sam eh.
Yes.
Diba? But if you're a dual citizen and you're not earning any income in the Philippines, why should you be taxed by the Philippine government?
So si Arnel Pineda, shoutout Arnel Pineda.
Malalagay si Arnel sa alanganin. Kaibigan ko rin si Arnel.
I know. So pag halimbawa, okay, wag na lang si Arnel. Peace tayo. I love you, Arnel. So,
pag kumita si Arnel dito, I think i-declare niya yun sa kanyang income tax. I'm not a tax expert.
I know. Pero, okay. Alam ko na kung bakit. Because he lives in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But for someone like me who doesn't live in the Philippines,
you will not be taxed. Unlike, But if you own properties in the Philippines, of
Of
course,
course,
you'll
yeah.
have to pay $1 million.
Yes, yeah. Property
Yeah,
tax.
yeah.
Mga
If
ganun,
you
ganun.
sell your property in the Philippines, babayaran mo yung mga sales taxes, etc. Di ba?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ang galing yung pala yun.
Oh, walang mawawala eh. If you're just earning your income here, why would the Philippine government tax you? Wala ka namang kinikita sa Pilipinas eh. So wala eh. Di ba?
Pero, Kong Jen, pag kumikita ka, let's say nagtutour ako at kumikita ako abroad, and then uuwi ako sa Pilipinas,
That one you have to report. It's part of your
report
income.
lang.
Oo.
Oo.
Mata-tax ka rin doon.
Okay.
Like if you're a boxer.
Box, yeah.
You box in Las Vegas, you earn money, kasama sa income mo na itatax ng BIR yan.
So, si Senator Manny, iba ang tingin sa kanya sa tingin kay Donaire. Because Nonito Donaire lives in Las Vegas. But I think si Donaire is not Filipino. I'm not sure if he's Filipino eh. May idea ka ba? Is he dual?
I'm not sure too. I wouldn't venture into that. Ikaw baka magkali ako.
Mga love ko yung mga yan. Si Senator Manny actually helped contribute to building Paco's place.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, maraming salamat.
Yeah.
Senator.
So, and then we've had his son, si Jimuel.
Oh, yeah. Nakita ko yung podcast mo sa kanya. I was
Yes.
actually watching it, I think today or the other day.
Ang bait-bait na bata.
Yeah.
So anyway, Kong Jan, ito, yan. Would you recommend to your mga kamag-anak to work for the DFA
Yes.
and to be an ambassador?
Oh, yes. Maganda ang trabaho of a Filipino diplomat. Kahit papaano, yung ating pay grade tumaas na rin. And of course, the privilege of serving our fellow Filipinos overseas and representing your government before foreign countries, it's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. It's fulfilling.
Right.
Fulfilling. Kaya I would encourage even my son. I'm encouraging him to take the foreign service examination, and I think he's interested to take it when there's again an exam to be given by DFA later this year.
Wow.
Yeah, so hopefully he will take it.
Now, what if one of these days you get called to be ambassador? Do you get to pick and choose your post? No.
We get to express our preference or preferences, but there's no guarantee that we'll get it. It's still all up to the Department of Foreign Affairs to tell us where to go. The Secretary of Foreign Affairs and the President, of course, because it's President who signs our appointment. So again, we go back to my earlier statement that the work of a diplomat is no different from that of a soldier.
Yeah.
Because you get assigned to places. Sometimes you don't like the place, but you have no choice but to obey. Yeah. Like when they told me, okay, you're going to Jeddah. I said, Jeddah, Middle East. My God, there's a lot of problems in the Middle East. Why should I go there? Diba?
Pero you were talking to yourself in your head.
Yeah, of course. But, if as a diplomat, you cannot say no.
Right.
You just follow the orders from your boss, who is the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. And it's also part of your training as a foreign diplomat, And I was thankful actually of being assigned to Jeddah, because once you're assigned in Jeddah or any post in the Middle East for that matter, you can be assigned anywhere.
Piece of cake na.
Yeah, because you get trained there. The most difficult cases involving overseas Filipinos you get to meet or encounter in the Middle East.
Grabe, yung mga complaints.
Maraming complaint. We eat, we have those for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
What's a typical day like, Kong Jen? Like you wake up in the morning. What time do you wake up in the morning?
Here in LA, 5, 6 o'clock.
And then what do you do?
A little exercise, then breakfast, then go to the office. I should be in the office by 8:30 or 9.
Who gets mad if you're not in the office?
No one.
Exactly. But 8 or 9, you have to be there.
I like to be there for some reason. I'm a early riser, and I hate to be absent from office, even if nobody minds in the office. Even if I'm the boss, I have to be in the office. I'm probably in the office earlier than many of my staff, actually. And a regular routine, a regular day in the office is, of course, reviewing reports, As I said, we don't just process passports. Yun ang karamihang iniisip ng ating mga kababayan. Ang ginagawa lang naman ng konsulado, nagpapapassport yan eh. So they see me as a walking passport. That's not the case. We also do other things. We do political reporting. We do economic reporting.
When you say political reporting, yung estado ng
things that are
the
happening
territory,
here now that may be of interest to our government.
Right.
Economic reporting, trade and investment opportunities for Filipino businesses.
And is that a monthly report or a weekly report?
No, it's
daily?
Daily report.
Wow.
No. Anytime you see something that's worth reporting, you report on it. Diba?
Oh, so ito magiging brief ng presidente eventually.
Kasama yan. Papasok yan sa ating tinatawag na Office of American Affairs in DFA.
Yes.
And they feed that to the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. And there's anything that needs to be reported to the President. Akyat yun. Kasama lahat yan. So we do political, economic reporting. We do cultural diplomacy.
What does that mean?
We promote Filipino culture.
Okay.
To promote greater awareness of Filipino culture. Kaya nandyan yung ating Asian American Philippine Heritage Month in October. Kasama tayo dyan. We do a lot of cultural shows wherein we will be featuring gowns, Filipino designs.
Right.
And then we do cultural diplomacy, and we have the assistance to national section. That's where we provide assistance to Filipinos in distress. In terms of percentages, siguro yung ATN section na yan, kukonti lang. Siguro mga 3-5% dito lang sa LA. But in the Middle East, sa Jeddah, that's maybe about 90% of what we do. Diba? Dito, it's mostly consular work.
Yes.
And attending to Filipino community events. Kasi napakadami.
So speaking of Filipino community events, pag nag-Philippine Independence Day, is that a headache for you? Because ang daming events that you have to go to.
We have already devised a way, to try to meet all the requests for the Philippine Consulate to be represented. So for example, in June, I have already assigned the different, my other co-officers to represent the Philippine Consulate in Phoenix, in Las Vegas, in Anaheim, in Carson.
Ang dami. May Cerritos pa.
May Cerritos. So, na-divide na namin yan. Kompleto na. Okay, ayos na yan.
Oh my God. And you don't get paid extra for
this?
We
don't get paid for that. We don't get paid. And then, so sabi ko, etong Las Vegas, meron akong pinapupunta na I'm not going, but sabi ko next year, which is going to be my last year in California, I have to make sure that I go to Las Vegas. Kasi last year ko na yan eh. Para naman di sila magtambo.
Okay. Last year. So, lumalabas na parang 3 years na.
3 years na. Because I was already 3 years in Jeddah.
Oh, so because that's your 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
And then you're going back to the Philippines.
Correct, yeah.
Ano yan? Kumbaga obligatory.
Obligation, yeah. Obligatory yan. That you have to go back for home service for at least 2 years.
Desk job.
Oh, yeah, desk job yan.
Traffic.
That's true. True, yeah.
Where do you plan to retire?
Well, I have several properties in the Philippines already. And the U.S. definitely a place for me for retirement. Because I know how difficult life is here.
Yes.
You have to do everything.
Oh, yeah.
Own, right? You have to do your own laundry,
yes.
your own marketing, your own cleaning, a lot, diba? So, I plan to retire in the Philippines, somewhere in the Philippines. Yeah. And visit, the US is just a place to visit for me.
Pero not to retire soon, hindi pa.
Hindi pa naman. Yeah.
What are your aspirations, Kong Jen? Is ambassador part of your aspiration?
It's the end goal of our career as for us diplomats.
Hindi ka pwede mag Secretary of Foreign Affairs?
Well, that's really the game there is much different. Mas competitive yan. At maraming factors na yan pumapasok. Alam mo naman sa atin lakaran, di ba?
Yeah.
But for a career diplomat, at least we can look forward to becoming ambassadors someday. Yeah.
And again, you can't determine where that.
Exactly. You cannot say now where I'm going to be assigned as ambassador. It's all up to the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, whoever it is going to be appointed as the next Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Yeah.
In your tenure as Consul General. What did you find most meaningful in your journey?
What's the most meaningful?
The most meaningful aspect of the journey. Diba? Kasi, yeah, you're helping Filipinos, pero that's part of the job.
Yeah,
diba?
part of the job. Territory na yan di ba? I mean, realizing finally that you like to serve people who are total strangers to you. Di ba? Mahirap yun actually.
Mahirap talaga.
Mahirap yun. Na kaya mo palang gawin yun. Kahit hindi mo kilala yan. Gugustuhin mo na rin na gawin yan. You begin to like what you're doing And in fact, you begin to crave for it Di ba? Na parang kulang na ang buhay mo, ang araw mo pag di mo nagawa yun Diba? True, it's part of the territory. But it's different if deep inside you actually hate what you're doing. Right? But it's different if in the course of doing what you've been doing for the last 10, 20 years, you actually like and love what you're doing. Diba?
Parang minsan hinahanap mo.
Parang masokista ka na din, di ba?
Kailangan mo tulong. Dito ako.
Di ba? Parang hahanapin mo na di ba?
Sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon who are thinking of giving up and just hanging their jersey and going back to the Philippines because they've given up. Sa mga OFW, yung mga bagong bayani natin na nanonood all over the world.
Wag, don't give up.
What's your advice to them?
I could cite the case of my brothers who were among the first to be deployed in Saudi Arabia. At that time, life in Saudi Arabia was so difficult. In the Middle East for that matter. Walang mga internet. Walang mga messenger. Walang mga Skype. And yet they survived. And look at them now. They're enjoying their retirement years in the Philippines, in the province. Ganun din ang sinasabi ko dito. What's good about America? I can see it. I've seen it. What's good about America is that if you really work hard and give your best shot, the American dream is still alive. Right? You can still make it big no matter your background in life, no matter where you came from. Basta masipag ka lang. Huwag ka lang namimili. Di ba? Kaya mo pa rin buhayin at isabuhay yung tinatawag nilang American dream.
Yeah.
Kaya pa rin yan I think America still is a very egalitarian society. There's still so much social mobility here that if people really work hard, they will succeed somehow. And so the trick is for you not to give up. Just keep on pursuing your dream and giving it your best shot. Because I think this society will give you the chance to do it. Look at Obama. Who would imagine that he would become president of this country? Diba? Diba? For so many centuries, they were being persecuted, and yet he became the president. Diba?
First.
Right. Diba?
Sa tingin mo magkakaroon tayo ng first Asian American president?
You cannot close the doors on that. It is possible. Just like Obama became the president of the United States a few years ago. Diba? Maaaring mangyari din yan. So yung mga kababayan natin na hihirapan ngayon, don't ever give up. Kung nahihirapan ka ngayon, pansamantala lang yan. What's important is that you're already here. And believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Yeah.
Sa mga kababayan naman natin na nasa Philippines na nanonood ngayon na nagbabalak mag-abroad for a better life.
For a better life.
What advice can you give them?
Huwag kayong masyadong naniniwala na pag nasa Amerika na kayo, masarap ang buhay dito araw-araw. Talagang kayod kalabaw dito. But what's good about, being in America is that if you really work and work hard, you can see and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Masarap mo buhay dito, basta may pera ka di ba?
Yeah.
Yeah. Masarap
Now, Kong Jen, before we land this, yung Philippine Consulate natin, is it pro Filipino in terms of will you really in front of our audience assure us na you guys are like 7-Eleven always there for us?
Oh yes, we are. We are pro-Filipino. We are there for you 24/7. We are there for you 365 days a year. We have hotlines. If for some reason you cannot reach the hotlines that I've given in our website and our Facebook page, you can walk in at the consulate anytime. Any problem that you have, for as long as we can help resolve it, we will come to your assistance. You can rest assured that we will be there for you. We will not abandon you.
Pahabol. Yung mga dating Filipino, will you help them?
Yes. Alam mo, ang nakakatuwa niyan, Paco, marami tayong mga kababayan na nagiging Amerikano. Diba? And marami din sa kanila hindi pa rin nagdudual citizen. Or mayroong mga nagdudual citizen na. So they're now Americans, right? Americans. Yeah. And then some of them run into problems. And who do they run to? It's the Philippine government. They come to us for assistance, not the US government. Right. I don't know why. Sa atin tumatakbo. Diba? Hindi ko naman bakit? Ba't kayo sa amin tumatakbo? Amerikano na kayo. Ba't sa amin parang kayo tumatakbo eh? But I don't say that. Because we're there to help anyone na kapwa Pilipino natin. Ganon tayo kabait. Walang gobyerno gumagawa niyan except the Philippine government, I think. Tayo lang gumagawa niyan. Tayo lang gumagawa. We're the only government with a budget allocated to help precisely Filipinos who are in these stressful situations. That's an annual budget. At pag binigayan ng ating gobyerno, we don't expect to be repaid at all. Bigay na yan ng gobyerno.
Right.
Hindi na yan babayaran. No other government does that. I think many of our Filipino kababayans do not realize that.
Well, they do now. After watching your podcast episode, I hope they pick up on it.
Yeah.
Ang galing.
So, bukas po ang ating pintuan sa mga kababayan natin na nangangailangan ng tulong. Basta kaya natin gagawin natin. Yeah. So, maraming salamat, Paco, for giving me the opportunity to talk to you and to our fellow Filipinos. Malaking bagay itong programa mo eh.
Thank you.
Because through your program, naipapaabot natin ang ating mga programa, ang mga kakayahan at mga limitasyon ng ating konsulado din. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Consul General Edgar Badajos here at Live at Paco's Place.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sa susunod na pagbalik ni Kong Gen, makakatayin na natin, guys. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Galing.
Galing?